But by and large, what was the tendency among the people of Goa? I remember my own case. Supposing I tell you about my own little grandson today. From the age of 2, he used to see his elder brother going to school. So as soon as he started walking a bit, he would grab his brother's bag, put it back here, and try to walk with him. So now he goes to school. When I was of that age, what was I doing? I was running after my cows. And my children of my age, living in the villages, living even in the town of Mapsa, we would follow whatever our elders did. If somebody is a farmer and goes to the paddy field or whatever field, the child also tracks along with him. If somebody is a fisherman, the child does the same thing. If somebody has some cows, the fellow does the same thing. But if there is a tradition of education in school, the little one also wants to follow the elder one. So this is how copy-paste, that is what we call today, this is also what will happen. So in those days, after the Republic came in, there was a revolution. And then, Madam, you cited, the Honorable Principal cited Ambedkar. She talked about Mahatma Phule, Rajarshi Shahu Maharaj, and of course, Shivaji, and his attempts to take over Goa, defeat the Portuguese, Sambhaji Street, all this was a little bit known here. So these Pantojis of those time who came from nearby areas were implanting these stories about emancipation, stories about education, stories about social reformation and so on. And then from 1920 onwards, almost in all major towns and cities of Goa, educational institutions started springing up. In Margao, Gomanta Vidya Niketan today, in those days it was known by the caste name. In a place called Morji, Vidya Prasarak Mandal. In a place like Pedne, another institute. Here, Ponda and your areas. So almost everywhere the school started. Now we must also know how the Samajik constitution was. We were all, divided into castes. Even today it continues. So the Brahmins, or rather Brahmins amongst us, the Saraswats, the GSPs, as I said, naturally, since the father had studied and the mother had studied, or the elder brother is studying, so naturally the child also studies there. And the farmer's child goes to the field. कोण गुराखी म्हणून चल्लो, कोण खारवी म्हणून चल्लो, कोण आनी कसो मेस्ताचो भुरगो ते घेवन बसता आपण कितें जाता तें टक 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 टक. So they had started the schools. And then this revolution started. Everywhere in Goa, schools started. Some teaching up to 3rd standard, 4th standard. Very few in the villages, in the towns, up to SSC. And then they started going over to the neighboring Maharashtra state to get their vernacular final, that was the one word used, up to 7th standard. Vernacular final. And then SSC and so on and so forth. So Bandodkar belongs to that age, remember, born in 1911. He belongs to that age, and without being told about education, the influence starts seeping into his mind. And there were stalwarts as well. One of the writers, Khbarb of Goa University, has written a wonderful book about him. How the whole democracy was revolutionized in Goa. How it was a revolution so far as the whole country was. He compares it very beautifully. I would advise you to read that book. Huh? Is it? Oh, wonderful. Then you must be proud of him. He has really analyzed the whole entire activity in a beautiful way. You might have heard about persons like Rajaram Painginkar, Narayan Karwarkar. Then comes Babu Bandodkar. And how was our society in those days? certain obnoxious things were happening. And they were continued in the name of God, in the name of caste, vagara, vagara, tradition and promotion. The social hierarchy was marked by our varnas and caste. It continues till today. Though the intensity and the injustice arising out of it appears to have diminished a bit, but not exactly and fully. So Bandodkar belonged to a class of Goans who were at one time despised, yet loved in some other way, exploited in the worst manner. No marriages of girls. Chess was a term, chess vidhi. So the girl is married to the god and then she chooses a husband or whoever. Now such a community getting together, reforming itself and rising to the level of the topmost communities of the country is itself a story which requires in-depth study and recognition and understanding. Research. One of you can do that research. How wonderfully, within a very short span of period, this transformation has taken place. And then the root of all this is education. At the core of everything is education. Somehow that whole ideas, seep into the minds of Bandodkar. And wherever he goes, he makes it sure that there is a school in the village. Even before liberation of Goa took place.